When I was in my 20s, I was very smart and I read through my company's rule book and I found a loophole that I can travel for 1 month per year and not lose my job. And I did it, but I was the only person.
Well, that's what you get for reading the manual.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I was just one of those kind of nerdy kind of people and like, what can I do? And I found this and I always did want to travel.
Folks, welcome. Heads and Tails is back. I hope you're all prepared to immerse yourself in an enticing journey into the depths of foreign cultures, because today we're in for a treat. Our spotlight shines brightly on an expat who has spent the last 12 years away from his homeland, joined by a local hailing from none other than the vibrant city of Chiang Mai, Thailand. And what perfect timing it is. Today marks the beginning of the Northern Thai New Year celebration, where children and adults alike gear up with water guns for the lively and joyous Songkran festival. But our conversation delves deeper than just festivities. We'll uncover the remarkable story behind a 10-year cultural exchange initiative, spearheaded by Mike Cook. Initially, just a humble Facebook page that has blossomed into a beloved community event, now co-hosted by the wonderful Varaya from Chiang Mai. You'll discover the secrets to fostering a community passionate about learning your local culture and language, and the invaluable resource of like-minded individuals along the way to hone your linguistic skills and broaden your horizons. Moreover, we'll dive into the unique backgrounds and interests of our esteemed guests, shedding light on the enchanting city of Chiang Mai. From its rich historical tapestry to the dynamic changes witnessed over the past decade, there's a wealth of insights awaiting for us. So, get comfy and a nice beverage and prepare to be captivated by the tales and wisdom that await us in this exploration of Chiang Mai's allure. Beautiful, wonderful people. Sawadee krap.
Sawadee krap.
So the difference between when men finish it and women finish it is different tonally, right?
Yes.
Kap and ka.
Well, it's actually a different word.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's not just the tone. Yeah.
Yes, because of we add R sound in the middle. Right? Krap is for the guy and ka is for the women. But mostly Thai people we lazy to say the R sound, so we say kap and ka.
It gets a little more complicated than that because if you just say cup, there has different meanings as well.
Yeah, but we are lazy.
Yeah, there are different. Cup is used in different situations and different scenarios than krap.
Yeah. Well, can you give me a few examples, maybe?
Cup means affirmation, like you understood something.
Oh, I see.
You just say cup, cup. In fact, there's kind of a famous foreign joke when you hear a Thai, especially Thai men, talk on the phone. And normally you could guess it's either with their boss or their wife. They will start out and then literally after the first sentence, you'll just hear them say cup, 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 cup. Cup. They're just affirming everything the other person on the other line is saying.
Yes.
So
another, I just discovered this by myself, but if I say when like mid-sentence someone's like kind of like serious about saying something, and if I go like they're like yeah, he gets it.
But you need to understand that's actually impolite Thai.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. When I was studying Thai, it's street Thai. When I was studying in America, one of my friends was from Isan, and she gave me this habit of because she did it all the time. And I got in big trouble when I moved here and started working in a Thai environment. I would just, of course, that's what I learned and that's what I did. And Thai people, the Thai teachers, they got very angry with me and corrected me. It's like not considered polite because it's not high Thai. It's not formal Thai. It's street Thai.
I see.
So-
And how much of would you say Royal Thai is spoken in Thailand percentage-wise?
There's
and
a question
street
for
Thai?
her.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't use it in normal life. We just speak like this, like English, normal English. Is not polite, and crap, it is a polite way. But Royal Thai, we didn't speak in daily life.
It's a different language.
I would assume
Royal
so.
Thai is a different language.
I would assume so. So you were introduced to the Thai language not in Thailand actually, but in.
Well, no, of course I was introduced to it here.
Sure.
For
Like formally learning it.
Yeah, this story begins. I came to visit Thailand. I heard about Thailand many years ago from people who traveled a lot, and my question to them is, of all the countries that you visited, all the places that you've gone to, what are your top 2 favorite places? And I noticed many people, most people would say Thailand was number 1 or number 2 on their list. At that time, I had never been to Asia. And so I'm like, but I actually had some previous interest in Indonesia, which is not far from Thailand. And so I'm like, okay, my next trip I'll plan to Thailand. And the way I travel is I go to a place, and if there are things I don't know or if it's new, I like to explore an area before I continue further. So I'm sad to say I've never still made it to Indonesia because in Thailand there's just so much to explore. And now I've lived here 12 years, and there's still things to explore and places to explore.
I think that's a great way to travel. Even within Thailand, I haven't traveled much in my own country. Have you traveled a lot in Thailand?
I travel some cities in Thailand, but not that much. Only the north part of Thailand. South part just one time. Yeah.
But you lived here the most of your
Yeah,
time,
I
right?
live here the most in Chiang Mai.
And after living those many years, do you think there's always more things to discover?
I think Chiang.
Even for Thai?
Yeah. Even me, I just walk in the old city. New things come up, new shop, and I like to drink coffee. So many coffee shop in Chiang Mai, many new places that I need to explore every day.
And you get to meet new people, you know. I think that's the most thrilling part of it.
Yes, it's good. Like I come to language exchange, I meet many new friends, and my English and my Chinese improve a lot. And I meet some friends that can speak German also. I can learn some German.
Yeah, stepping into the polyglot zone in the Moat House.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I came in, I traveled the first time, and I know most people are interested in the beaches, but for me, I'm more interested in the history and culture. So I wanted to explore the center of everything I read about of the culture of Thailand, and everything you read, it always says Chiang Mai is the center of the culture of Thailand. So from my very first trip, I traveled from Bangkok to Chiang Mai. And my very first experience, actually, I really did not like Bangkok. I really hated it. There were too many people. It was just all rush. It reminded me of like the Asian version of American life. I mean, it's just busy, making money.
I lived
I don't
in
like
Istanbul
that.
for the past 15 years, and it's very similar to Bangkok. It's very similar
I've
to
been
New
to
York.
Istanbul.
And it's like, it's so chaotic that I felt I'm aging faster.
Yeah. Also for myself, it was when I was traveling that I started to begin to realize a dream for my own future of finding a place that had a slower life with a culture that I really, really enjoyed. And so when I traveled, I was always in the background looking for that place. And when I still remember the day I got off the bus in Chiang Mai and I saw the mountain, and I grew up near the mountains in America, and I felt at home. And very luckily, like, the people of Chiang Mai are very friendly, very polite, very welcoming, very different than the Middle East, and very different than many places in Europe that I've been to as well. Not all. I mean, some places in Europe are very friendly as well. But I fell in love with Chiang Mai, like right when I got here. And after that, I planned direct flights from America to Chiang Mai, skipping Bangkok because I knew I didn't like Bangkok. And so that was the beginning of my journey to Chiang Mai. And then I realized at one point I would come here for a month for almost every year, and I did that for a number of years, and I realized, like, okay, this is the place I want to live, to have that slower life in the future. And you know, it's sensible to understand, okay, I need to study the language. So
but I remember because the first time I met you, you told me that you had started learning Buddhism first.
Correct. I had a coworker where I worked in America, and he was studying Chinese, and he was really interested in Buddhism. And even though he is studying Chinese, his favorite form of Buddhism was Thai Buddhism. So he was the one, an American, who introduced me to the Thai temple in Seattle. That's where I lived. And he was the first one who brought me to the Thai temple. He introduced me to meditation, to Theravada Buddhism. And so I started a habit of going there. They would meet on Sundays for Thai people. And I mean, I tried to make it clear to the monks, the people that I talked to there, that I was interested in learning Thai language. At that time, there were no Thai classes available at university in Washington State. I think at the time there were only 3 universities in all of America that actually had Thai language.
Wow.
Now there are many more. In fact, I know University of Washington has a whole Asian language department. But back when I was studying, there were only 2 books out.
It feels like in the last 30 years, Thailand has gained so much more popularity.
Well, I did come here as a tourist. I came here first in 1998. And I came here because I heard about it from other tourists. I heard it was a wonderful place, and like I said, one of their top favorite places they've ever been. So that was the reason, that's what brought and drew me here as well, because I heard it was a great place.
I'm curious about something.
Yeah.
Well, we forgot to do that, but maybe I can edit it. So would you be kind enough to introduce yourself to our viewers?
I'm live in Chiang Mai for long time, and I work with the tourists.
Your name?
My name is Mai Ling.
Mei Ling.
Mai Ling. My Chinese name is Mai Ling. My Thai name is Nan. So I do Airbnb in Chiang Mai, right? So I work with a lot of foreigners here, and I also check about the tourists coming in Chiang Mai. Past like 2008, before 2008 till now 2024, is the first top is Chinese people 800,000 in a few the first beginning, but now it's just 200,000, but still a lot, the first top. And the second is Japanese, Korea, and the rest is the people from Europe and other countries.
Can you tell me more about the differences you've observed, let's say when you were a teenager or like early 20s when you met foreigners and Varangs, and compared to now?
When I learned Chinese, the first time that I learned, it doesn't have internet, so equipment is just only the dictionary, the big one, almost like a half kilo that I need to pack in my bag and go everywhere.
The burden of learning language is heavy.
Yes,
it
was literally heavy.
It's not easy to study, to learn Chinese, but when I come to language exchange and I meet people, I start to practice speaking, and if I don't know the word, I just ask people the meaning and remember. So it's not easy, but it takes time. And also in German, I learned German. When I meet people, I use language to ask the word and try to ask people if they can speak more than 3 languages, the way or the idea or the trick to learn languages. So I got many things from other people that come to language exchange, and then now we have AI, so I also use AI to teach me my German.
Do you think it gets easier when you learn more languages?
I think it's easier, and you got more information, and you know the news, and you know the trends and everything. So actually at the first beginning, my English is poor. My Chinese is better than English, and then when I need to work with foreigners, I need to learn more languages, so my English is better than before. And then when I know English, Chinese, I can know about the technology and everything because of languages, not just only Thai. So you will be further than others people one step. But now because of AI, so maybe everybody are similar, but we still get the benefit.
And as a Thai mother tongue speaker, do you find Chinese or English to be easier for you?
For me, Chinese or English, I think Chinese is easier than English because of English is grammar is not easy. German
do you
also.
speak any Chinese, Mike?
He learned.
Oh, okay.
一点点.
But do you think it's like more about the distance? So like you're closer to China, therefore Chinese is easier.
Well, there's been an influence for long time, centuries, of Chinese on Thai language. So there's even some words that are the same. The grammar is very similar. Not the same, but similar.
So just to get this right, I'm learning more and more about Chiang Mai's history. And it seems to be there were families, big tribes, 7 of them. Like Lana, the Lana people were predominantly living in this area. Not just this area, but more like what's up, Burma and in Laos as well.
Well, Lana was a separate kingdom for a few hundred years. So in fact, the palace is not far from here.
Oh yeah, exactly.
In the old city.
Yeah.
In fact, that's why you see so many temples in the old city, because that's the location of the palace, and those temples were royal temples for royalty.
Oh, I see. And this is very different than like where does China begin then in that sense?
I don't know.
Talk about Chinese people in Chiang Mai.
No. Like the borders. So we have Thailand, North Thailand, historically, and then we have Burma, and then we have Laos.
I don't know in the past we near China or not.
Well, Siam was actually much bigger than it is now today. That changed during World War II. Basically, as if you do some reading of history of Siam or Thailand, Siam was the only country not involved in the war, even though it was a little bit with Japan. But Siam, what king was that? King Rama the Fifth. Yeah, I believe it was King Rama the Fifth. A hugely important king in Thailand.
Well, it was King Rama the Fifth until King Rama the Seventh, which changed to Thailand.
Yeah. But Thailand tried to stay out of the war because on the east side was France. On the west side, on the east side, meaning like basically Vietnam was colonized by France. And also France was moving further west. And on the west side was Burma, which was colonized by the British. So we had like this whole area of Southeast Asia was a larger conflict between England and France, and they're closing in on the center here in Siam. So King Rama V, he called this the neutral zone, but for him to actually achieve that, he gave away parts of Laos to France. So but by giving that part of Laos away is unfortunate for those people and that area, but for what remained, it was peaceful.
Sure. So the sacrifices.
He made the sacrifice.
It needed to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's hard to judge history based on what we know right now. When I was studying literature, we were always advised to think about those circumstances in that time, and like the pressure and everything. The historical context is really important when you're kind of trying to understand what happened in the past. But do you think there's a lot of mixing, like interracial mixing these days between Thai and Chinese and Japanese and Korean and
I think so, in my opinion, but only to a certain degree.
So why is mixed with Thai and Chinese?
Is there? I'm asking. No. Oh yeah, there is.
Yeah, because of we have some part of Chinese people moved to Thailand. So
actually, you are an example of this.
Yeah, because my family, we moved from Santo is near Hong Kong by half an hour by boat. So we moved here, my grandpa generation. So when we are at home, we speak not Mandarin, we speak the other Chinese languages. But when I come out, they speak Thai, so we need to learn Thai. And they didn't taught us to speak Chinese that much. So I learned Chinese in Chiang Mai University and come here. So we mix many countries, but mostly it's China. And we separate south part of China and some part of China like Santo, my hometown. We moved to Bangkok, the middle one. But the south part of China, when they moved to Chiang Mai, in the top of Chiang Mai.
Was there a lot of families moving when your grandparents were moving?
Yes, because at that time in China, they don't educated, they don't have money, and they poor, so they move out. So separate place. The north part of Thailand, like Chiang Rai, is people from Yunnan, so they speak Mandarin. So they move here and they can speak Mandarin.
So
but for us, we cannot.
Got you. No. This is the literal answer. Like I was curious about this. Where does these countries don't really have borders at all? Actually, it's just very granularly sort of like
not a wall like what's being built in America.
Sure.
There was a second big wave of immigration of Chinese to here, and that was during the Cultural Revolution, because the war of the one side of the war was centered from Taiwan and Hong Kong, and they lost the war with Beijing, and in losing they fled to Taiwan and also Chiang Rai, the northern parts of Thailand. And so that was the big second wave of immigrants, Chinese immigrants, to come in here into Thailand.
I think that adds to what I feel when I come here as being, you mentioned Thailand, the Chiang Mai being kind of the cultural art capital of Thailand. But I would even go as far to say that it's maybe the art capital or like the cultural capital of the whole Southeast Asia.
I have not traveled all over Southeast Asia, so I would not be an expert on that.
Me neither. But I've heard it from a few different people, you know? And I mean, you see a lot of like tourists come here, you see a lot of people who stay here. I think there might, like all of this that you're talking about, the whole population exchanges, a lot of different, like you're exposed to so many different languages, you know? I didn't know that about you. So I think these people are very valuable. People who speak more than 3 languages are extremely valuable to whole society. And I think there's a bunch of people like this over here, plus a lot of arts, plus a lot of music, plus a lot of...
Chiang Mai has changed a lot, though.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, when I first came in 1998, the moat, as we see it now, was all dirt. There were few lights. The big change that happened here in Chiang Mai was during the Prime Minister Thaksin, his time, because he was from Sangkapang, which is just 20 minutes outside of Chiang Mai. And actually, this is normal. I've been told by Thai people, every prime minister, when they become prime minister, they tend to pour a lot of money into their hometown. So at that time, Thaksin poured a lot of money into Chiang Mai. And he made the whole moat a park. That's when the dirt turned to grass, and we got lights all around the moat, and it became a lot more beautiful. He also had a plan.
And that was in the 90s?
This is early 2000s.
Oh, early 2000s.
So this is about like 2004, 2005, and he had a vision. At that time, the Chiang Mai airport was not international. You always had to fly through Bangkok to get to Chiang Mai, and he made it international. And he also planned the superhighways around Chiang Mai city because he knew like there's going to be a buildup in traffic. So now that
Thank you, King.
project took forever. Anyone who was here is like, oh my God, yeah, like there's probably someone was a child when it began and now they're an adult and it just finished. I mean, it took forever.
At long last, we can use the superhighways.
Yeah, exactly.
And in Turkey, it's exactly the same. We get a lot of acceleration around election times. Election times is the best time to, renovate and innovate.
Yeah, he poured a lot of money into the city, which was very good for Chiang Mai and good for people here in Chiang Mai. When the airport became international, that changed the nature of Chiang Mai City. It became a lot more international. Before that, there were actually, in the late 1990s, in fact, there's a book out. There were, I believe, only 3 foreign restaurants in the whole, which I know you probably can't even believe that now. But there were only 3 foreign restaurants in all of Chiang Mai City. There's like Mike's Burger is very famous. It was the very first one, started by a guy named by Mike. And there's like 2 other places. The second place he also opened up, and the third place was a different person. I can't remember. But what happened when it became more international, they opened up international supermarkets. And by doing that, they introduced international spices that you can then buy, such as oregano. Like, you could not buy oregano before that. There was nowhere to buy it from. But as soon as you could buy oregano, okay, now you can open an Italian place. And it totally changed the nature of like foreign restaurants here in Chiang Mai.
Yeah. And it also adds to the experience as a tourist. I know that Thai people are just so natural with tourism in general. They are very accommodating and understanding, and also sort of accepting, welcoming. So food's also an integral part of Thai culture.
A big part of Thai culture is food. Yeah.
Like everyone loves eating. Everyone loves
Actually,
sharing.
that's one reason why I wanted to move here when I came here, is because I saw that the food here, the produce here is so cheap and it's so fresh. It's so much. I love to cook, and it's so much cheaper for me to make the exact same food I used to make in America here than there, and it tastes much better because the produce is so much more fresh.
Yes. So no regrets in leaving the States?
No, I haven't been back in 12 years. So
that's awesome.
And I'd have, the only regret is, of course, is some family members and friends. Sure. But that's just part of it.
I mean, they could come visit any time and they would have an amazing time.
And they have, yeah.
So another question to you. A lot of, so Mike's talking about the change from all the way to 90s to now. So as a person who's been observing the changes from 2008 till 24, do you think it just rapidly accelerated, like tourism and like language and people coming around? And
because I live near the Night Plaza, so it's a lot of tourists always. Yeah. So tourists from Thailand and tourists from other countries. I think mostly tourists still a lot from when I was young till now. And I just know that at the stat on website from our government, the most tourists to come to Chiang Mai is like Thailand people. Thai people come to travel in Chiang Mai, the number one. The second is Chinese. So it always, so when you want to like explore the city or to do the business, I think about Thai people first, because we are the most tourists in Thailand.
That's smart.
Chiang Mai is actually very popular for people from Bangkok because in Bangkok it's hot always, all year round.
Yes.
But in Chiang Mai we actually have a cold season. So December gets very, very busy, a lot of traffic here in Chiang Mai because of people from Bangkok coming to visit Chiang Mai.
To avoid the...
And now it's have like the pink flower up the mountain.
Yeah.
Sakura.
Yeah.
Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
Many people, many tourists go up the hill, walk far away to just take some photo of the pink sakura uphill Doi Suthep.
And hold on, I was also curious about, so you meet a lot of tourists, right? And what was different when you met Mike here?
Yeah, we need to go back to the story.
Okay,
so can I introduce myself now?
Please. I love it. It's so irregular, this one.
It's okay. My name is Mike Cook. I'm from Seattle, Washington in America. I am the head organizer for the language exchange group, and she is my co-organizer for the group. So I want to start with the beginning of language exchange.
Please.
I moved here in 2011, and I lived here for 2 years. No, it would have been 3 years. I lived here and worked here as a teacher for 3 years. And for myself, even though I had visited many times for many years, I had studied Thai language. What I missed, actually, the first thing I missed when I moved to Chiang Mai was the international community in Seattle, because Seattle is very international. But I had this idea because I studied Thai at a Thai temple with Thai monks in Seattle. That was my first experience of a language exchange. And I did that for 4 years, and I loved it. I would go once a week. I would help the monks with their English, and then they would help me with Thai. And
you're Royal Thai.
Not Royal Thai,
okay.
No, just common Thai.
Just common Thai.
And we used a book by Benjamin Pumsan Becker. Like I said, at that time there were only 2 books, and that was one, the more easily accessible book that was out for learning Thai language. And the beginning of every chapter had a vocabulary list. So the monks would study the English, and I would study the Thai, and then we'd get together and we'd quiz each other. And it was a really, really nice, fun, interesting way. And the second thing I'd have to say is that by studying at a Thai temple, I not only learned the language, but I learned the culture as well. Because Thai people would come to the Thai temple, and they are monks. So I got to see and witness what do Thai people do around monks. And I have to say that for Thai culture, that's equally important to the words. It's almost more important than the words, because Thai people are very understanding if you don't know the words. They're a lot less accepting if you don't know what to do.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And that's probably the biggest problem with foreigners. I mean, it's probably the biggest problem with foreigners traveling everywhere in the world, but specifically here in Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is considered the most polite. The other way to look at it is that they're the most polite because they have the most rules on what to do to be polite. But we don't know that, because we have to be taught that, just like Thai people are taught it as well. But they're taught it at school, they're taught it at the Thai temples.
Maybe we could start with things that are absolutely not, I know, any sort of, you can't really put your feet up.
Correct.
Definitely never
don't ever point your feet at a person. If you go into a temple, don't point your feet at the Buddha. Don't pat someone on the head.
Oh yeah, head is very sacred.
That's very. We fired a teacher because of that. Yeah. It doesn't matter how good his Thai was. If he pats someone, if you have a student on the head in an improper manner, they're gone.
That's so. Now that we talk about it, I'm looking at it in a different light. Patting someone on the head is so a power play kind of thing. Even in the West, I don't know why it's so okay.
It's totally okay in the West. Yeah, we don't even think about it. But here, it's because the head is considered sacred, and the only person that's okay to pat someone else on the head would be a parent. That's it. Even monks don't pat someone on the head. But a parent can.
There must be something about it. Really energetic.
But there's a perfect example of there are things in Thai culture you just don't do, but you have to learn what they are, because those things are different in every culture. They're not the same.
Also, when I come here and I have seen foreigners play with the head of others, but I still feel weird and I tell them, but they don't have this culture. So I don't know how to do, but yeah, in Thai we cannot play with the head.
So yeah, I'm going to go back to the beginnings of language exchange. So I was here for 3 years, and I was missing the international community. Back in Seattle, I had many friends. Honestly, I'd have to say only 25% of my friends were from America, were Americans. 75% were not American. I worked with people from Russia, from China, from everywhere around the world, from Mexico, and I loved it. I always enjoyed talking with people from other cultures and finding out about their culture is one thing I always enjoyed, and I really missed when I came here. Even though my Thai skills were growing a lot, I was getting much better in Thai, but I was missing that international community. And so when it was actually a Thai friend of mine who knew about my idea of a language exchange, but honestly, my idea was only Thai English. I was not thinking all languages. And there was an Australian by the name of Daniel Stiles, and he was one of 3 owners of a coffee shop, a cafe, and he started the first language exchange, and his idea was like any language, like all languages come and join. And it was called Focus Cafe, and he was honestly doing this just to bring business to the shop.
Cafe, yeah.
But the cafe really, early on in Chiang Mai's history, I think the cafe was really special because his idea every night had a different theme. Language exchange was just one night. That was Saturday night. And another, on Sunday night, they would have a photography group. And actually, if you know Canva, it's a photography website.
Yeah, Canva. Yeah,
that was born at Focus Cafe here in Chiang Mai.
No way.
Yes, from that photography group. Yeah.
And the thing is,
And there was a salsa dance group that would meet there. They still exist today.
Damn, Canva was born in Chiang Mai.
It was born in Chiang Mai. Yeah.
the guys from language exchange, he still work in Canva.
Yeah.
He still have YouTube video
So people who come to Tuesdays on language exchange here also work in Canva still.
Yeah.
Awesome
We
people.
we have a friends that come to language exchange and he work in Canva. So you can see his YouTube video. He also teach about Canva on YouTube video. So it's famous, like maybe 400,000 view people subscribe now, but a lot of people use Canva, and is the person that can teach exactly.
This is so goosebumpy for me because I have a good friend who works in Canva. Very nice Russian lady, Tata.
Okay.
She's doing other stuff right now, but just good vibes from this company. I also use it with my
So
visual stuff.
the focus really gave birth to a lot of really good groups because every single night had a different theme. Now the language exchange group within the first year became quite big. It was a small coffee shop. And by the end of the very first year, we had to add a second night because Saturday night became so busy. It was like too many people that were coming. So we had Wednesday night and Saturday night. And immediately I felt like that international community that I was missing from America, I was getting from language exchange.
Started
and I
sprouting
was really,
from there.
it made me very, very happy. Focus, hosted language exchange for 2 years, and then it closed down because I had business problems. I won't get into the problems. But yeah, it only existed for 2 years. It closed in 2016. When it closed, Daniel Stiles, the person who started it, he wanted to stop all the groups, but most of the groups, like I've described, did not want to stop. So I asked him, would it be okay if I took over the group? And he knew because I went there every time, like almost every meeting. He was very happy that I would take over the website, or the Facebook group, and that I would run the group. And we found a new location in Neiman area called Cube 7. And we were there for a long time up until COVID, actually. COVID closed everything down. But going back a little bit to Focus, because we were only there for 2 years, but a lot happened in those 2 years. One, I met her.
You guys met at Focus.
On Friday night, they hosted couch surfing, the couch surfing group. And so actually my brother was in Greece, and he was a couch surfer. He was a host. And he told me, I never heard about the group before, but I heard about it from Daniel because he said, oh yeah, we do couch surfing. I'm like, what is that? I didn't really know what it was. But I'm like, okay, I'll go check it out. I have the free time, and so I went on Friday night, and she was there because she wanted to improve her Chinese, and I could tell she was Thai, but trying to interact with Chinese people. And so I talked with her, and it was good because it helped me work and practice with my Thai. I talked to her in Thai because her English was actually very poor at the time. And so I told her in Thai, like, she should come the next night, on Saturday night, for a language exchange group. And because that's the whole point, is to practice your language. And so that's when she started coming, and we met each other. But again, I wasn't actually hosting the event at the time, neither was she. When we moved to Cube 7, that first year in Cube 7, I was hosting, And at the end of the first year, it's like I knew I needed some help. I needed a helper. And actually, Daniel was visiting once, and he was looking at, like, the group continued to get bigger. And I told him, like, I really felt we needed a woman. Like, I wanted a female partner to create balance. And it would also be best if it was a Thai person. And he immediately pointed to her, and she's like, she's the best. Like, choose her. Like, ask her if she'll do it. And then she accepted, so.
And it seems like you already enjoy doing this, so.
Yeah.
I just want to practice my languages. I love to speak to Chinese people because of they were nice, and foreigners, I can practice my English. So
Do you think there's a lot of Thai people like you?
I don't think so. Maybe they're too genius, so they don't come to language exchange. So some of Thai people, they coming, and I meet a good friends here also.
Would you say Thai people are generally shy?
Thai people, the first time that I've been to language exchange is the day that he has language exchange. But when I arrived the place and I have seen a lot of people, I drove back home the first day. So I go the second day because they have like couch surfing event. So I don't know it is couch surfing. I thought it was language exchange. So I joined the second day. Yeah, but it's fun to join the events. Meet new people, meet a lot of friends here.
True. Yeah, that I do notice a difference in nature. Focus was located kind of close to the University of Chiang Mai. So at that time, we did have a lot of students from University of Chiang Mai that would come to visit, and they're obviously Thai. And actually, even today, many of those same Thai students, now they've graduated and they still come, which is nice. The further away that we get from Chiang Mai University, the fewer students. We still have students that come, but I would say fewer that come, which is too bad. I'm trying to work on that market.
Yeah.
But yeah, even as an organizer, I'm trying to figure out how to do things better, improve things.
Well, I mean, perfection is only strived for, right? There's no sort of like end goal to it.
Actually, I do have some people to thank. What happened during COVID is everything got shut down, right? And so, and this is kind of the opposite typical story for COVID, because many even businesses completely went out of business, right? But for my Facebook language exchange group, what happened during COVID was the opposite. After about 3 or 4 months, prior to COVID, we had maybe 2,400, 500 members on the Facebook group. In about month 4 or 5 of COVID, every week 100 people were joining the Facebook group. Yeah, it was just exponentially growing.
Were you posting content or anything?
No, it was the normal, like,
people just networking
we
online.
already had people like saying, "Oh, I'm looking for someone to do a language exchange. This is my language. I'm looking for this language." And somehow the Google algorithm, like, I don't know if it was even for this area. I mean, I realized many of these people were not even living in Chiang Mai. Like, they were in China, like around the world. And because the meetings were shut down, I just accepted. It's okay. It's taking a different form of its own now. And people are using it to meet up online with other people to work on a language. And I just accepted. But yeah, the membership grew from like 2,500 to 8,000.
Wow.
Like during COVID.
That's crazy.
And that affected when we first started meeting after COVID ended. When we first met after COVID ended, the group size had doubled. So during COVID shut down a lot of businesses, but for language exchange, it expanded. It
Nice.
was like kind of odd.
People always want to connect with each other. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and
when or
actually,
how.
post-COVID, people had even a higher craving to connect with each other. Like physically, like they wanted to go out and actually talk real to real, not online anymore. So that brought people to the meetings much, much more. So
Do you see any difference post-COVID or like pre-COVID when it comes to, not just language exchange, but more so over, the temperament of the tourists, the stay of the tourists, the kind of...
Well, okay, first of all, I want to point out like that we don't consider ourselves a tourist group. It's not language exchange. Actually, the one thing that I always loved about language
expats,
exchange.
let's say.
Yeah,
people who come here to live here.
In fact, I have always found language exchange a very unique group because the majority of people who come live and work here, even if they're expats like myself. And that makes it different than just like couch surfing, where couch surfing meetups are tourist meetups. So if that's what you're looking for, go to the couch surfing meetings. If you're looking to talk with locals, our group is perfect.
Yes, because they live long here, right? So they work here online, and so you will meet like stay here more than 1 year, 2 years, Chinese people and foreigners. But mostly some of exchange students in Chiang Mai University, like Japanese students, they also come here.
Right, there's a lot of influx from students, right?
Yeah.
From like the different places in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, actually I knew even before I moved to Chiang Mai that Chiang Mai is an educational hub for especially all northern Thailand, but it's even bigger than northern Thailand. So I'd say like the GDP here in Chiang Mai, the first would be agriculture, second is education. So it's a huge market here in Chiang Mai. That's why there are so many teachers here, because all the good schools are here in Chiang Mai. And this is obviously helpful for our group. Not all, but I would say more than half of the people that come to language exchange, they're either students of a language or teachers of a language. It's really where different students and different teachers can meet up and help each other.
And if it's at that good level, I think it's both the same. You know, students of a language and teachers of a language are the same people.
Yeah. So
another question just came into my mind.
Sure.
From people, so I know people who come here as tourists generally extend their stay. Generally.
True.
Like that's maybe 90-95%. It's probably like a lot of people that I speak to, they're like, oh yeah, it's another week, just another month, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about how many people you meet turning from tourist into expat. Is that also common?
Well, yeah, I think that's how it begins. Like myself, like my own story. Yeah.
That's the healthiest way to do it.
Yeah, I would never recommend to anyone like permanently move somewhere you've never been to before. Like you should definitely visit a place before you make the decision like moving there.
Yeah, that's the healthiest.
That's just the smart way to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. So around the time that COVID stopped and then you started getting more and more people coming, did the sort of like the feel change of the language exchange?
Yeah, actually, that's kind of another story of itself. When COVID first finished, actually what happened, there was another guy here, and he started a language exchange group, but I'm a teacher, and the way the Thai government opened the schools was international schools were first to open because they had the smallest size classes, and then private schools were allowed to open, and then last was government schools, and I'm a government school worker, so teacher. So I was actually stuck in quarantine at home when I saw postings for another language exchange group. And so I went, but at the time, actually the group was not very big. And it was all the same faces, the people that I knew from the old language exchange, just a different location. And I went there and then discussed, like, because we had actually, at that time, we had been hosting for 6 or 7 years together.
Was it all at the Moat House? No.
This is prior to the Moat House.
I think it's £7 or somewhere.
£7.
Yeah.
Also hosted there.
Actually,
I love that place.
Actually, it was one place around the corner from £7, but that place, actually it rained twice. And they only have this small tent, so it was very obvious, like, we needed some place that had a haven from the rain.
Right. Wet language school.
So his name was Drew, and he was from New York. He was a young guy, and he was a teacher at an international school. So actually, I told him, like, we've been hosting language exchange for 7 years, and I welcome a small break. So I had actually told him, like, look, you could take over, you can host, do whatever you want. And he moved it to £7. We weren't there for long. We were there for maybe 6 months before rainy season, because the same problem happened. Like, we knew 7 Pounds is actually a great venue. We really liked it, but most of it's outdoors. And so, and they also insisted on doing live music every single night, but we're a talking group, so it really kind of got in the way. That's why we were only there for like 6 months. But those 6 months showed us, especially when I handed over the group to him, that's when the group just boomed. Like because it was through what I had built on my Facebook group that had all the advertising. Like, because we had been there for like 8 years on Facebook, we had the numbers. So as soon as I posted, like, we're now doing meetings here at 7 Pounds, the people went there. And then we saw, wow, now we have 60 people, not 20. Like, it's grown exponentially because of COVID. And then we knew we needed to move before rainy season began from 7 Pounds. And Drew found this place. And he talked to Mark, who is the owner, and he allowed us like this rooftop space, which is really nice.
It's wonderful.
A great venue.
Yes, it's probably the best because you see a beautiful
it's
view
actually,
of the city.
yeah, I'm really happy here at the Moat House. It's like one of my dream places, really. Like, if I had to choose, like, any place in Chiang Mai, this is probably the best place in Chiang Mai. And you can't get better than a rooftop view of Taipei Gate, like right in front of you. Like, even my first experience here at this place, it was before the Moat House. It was called John's Place. It was a restaurant. And my first New Year's here watching fireworks was here on the rooftop of John's Place. I sat over there and I watched the fireworks. That was my first New Year's in Chiang Mai. So I already knew the place. And I knew, like, oh, the rooftop is a great area. It's just a wonderful venue. So when he told me, like, oh, he booked this place, I'm like, oh my God, that's like the dream space. It's the
So
dream
clutch.
venue.
So I've written this one down. So we already talked about how you established the language exchange, but tell me more about the most difficult parts in staying consistent for the past like 10 years.
Staying what?
Consistent.
Okay. One, if you're going to host a group that does meetings, you have to always be there. I mean, that's the most important thing. We've tried many different ideas, a language exchange group. When it was smaller, it was easier to do like different, oh, this table does this table does this. Drew tried a wonderful thing. He actually, the app Lingo. Yeah, so he invited Lingo to come here, and they actually had like this, it was a lottery for like the winner won 6 months subscription. That's right, to the Lingo app. And I mean, that was very fun, very different. We never did anything like that before. So we've tried different things, but the number one most important thing, it's not gimmicks, it's not what you do, but the host has to be there. There are other groups that they have problems because, one, they don't meet every week the same night. That helps a lot. You have to be there. It has to be consistent. Our group does actually close 3 times a year, and we post it well in advance. But people come because they know we always have this meeting, so we're always here.
Even if we said that we close for New Year, but some people still
come
coming
anyway. Yeah.
because they get used to. Because we are here every Tuesday night here.
Tell me about the community aspect of the language exchange.
That's the best part.
Huh?
Like, people ask me, why do you do it? Obviously, especially before COVID, we were running twice a week, every Wednesday and every Saturday. And many people would always ask me, like, why do you take off 2 days of your time every week to host, to come here? It was not about money. Actually, what we get is, you get practice with learning a language, but for myself living here, you get contacts, like tons of contacts. You get to know people, for all the expats, who they are and what they're doing here, what their expertise is. And I still have, like, every few months, people, it could be Chinese people, it could be anyone, contact me saying, I need this, can you help me? And I personally say no, but I know someone who can. So I'm like the middle guy. So because of my long term here, and I've been the host of Language Exchange, I know tons of people know me. And so I know the city, and I know a lot here. And she knows tons too.
Oh, of course. Any happy coincidences that happen from the community?
For me, I think is the benefit is like him, because I know my friends, I know the business, I like to talk about the cities and about the technology and everything. So it's lucky that we are here. So we have a lot of expat and a lot of new friends come every night. So you will know the new things that people maybe don't know, but because of their work in their company or their job. I know someone that his job is just try to test the game, so he need to test the game every day before it launch to sales to people. Or the weird job that I just meet it is test to stay in the ghost house, the room that have a ghost, and it will have the certificate for your house that okay, this house is no ghost, is finished, is done.
What?
It's weird in Chinese people.
That's lovely.
Yeah, he posts on Facebook, and I know why he can do this, because of I just know that in China the place that the people die because of they don't have space, so they build it to be the school. So 80% of the school in China is from the graveyards. I don't know how to call it. Yeah, it's from the grave.
So we need like real life Ghostbusters to go and stay
so
places.
that guy is real life, and I don't know he got a customer or not, but many places in Chiang Mai that people need people to fix about the ghost, and he give the job. This is the first weird job that I have meet in person.
That's crazy.
Yeah, actually, in my position, I've helped many people get jobs here. Many people. Part of it just because like I meet someone, they're like, oh, I'm looking for a job in this, and then later on, maybe a week later, I meet someone who's like, oh, I'm looking to hire someone, and so I just match them together.
Oh, you guys are just like walking databases, huh?
We are, really. For this city, yeah. We know a lot.
Yeah.
If I don't know something, then she does. So.
Yeah, you just like complement each other.
Yeah, we do complement each other very well. We really do.
Yeah, have you considered actually like putting it down into a CRM? Like all these people who come here, like just their occupation.
There's too many.
There's too
Way
many, right?
too many. Yeah.
Maybe like
a lot.
Once you add them into a Facebook group, you can have this sort of like questionnaire that they can fill in.
Actually, that brings up a new problem that I'm finding, is that the young people are not using Facebook anymore.
Oh yeah.
They're using Instagram.
Yes.
We actually, you asked about experiences like connecting with the language exchange community, and the most recent one, we had a wonderful group of Japanese students that they were doing an exchange program at Chiang Mai University. In fact, they were very, very sad because they had already been here like 3 months before they found out about our group, and literally from like the second week, I mean, one of them was almost crying because she's like, just from one meeting, I've like practiced my English. I've met so many friends. I went hiking with people from this group. Like it changed her life. It changed her experience of Chiang Mai. And they were wonderful students from Japan. One of them, then I found out she was actually, her goal was to be an English teacher in Japan.
What?
And I've been a teacher here of English for 12 years. So I invited her to my school. And I brought her and 2 of her Japanese friends and introduced them to my special gifted English class, and they loved it. My class loved it, and the Japanese students loved it. And then, in fact, they loved it so much, we planned 1 month later for 8 more of the Japanese students from CMU to come, and then I actually did like group work between the Japanese students and my students, all in English, and they loved it so much. Like both parties, they loved it so much.
And you sound to me like you really love teaching English. So
I
that
do.
You do it as not a job, but it's more like an activity that you sort of engage other people in.
In Seattle, the last 1.5 or 2 years that I was studying Thai, remember? it was my favorite Thai restaurant. They asked me because I was actually like improving and getting better with my Thai. It was a cousin of theirs who he was born in America and he spoke no Thai. And actually the youngest brother, he was born here in Thailand. His Thai was very good. All of his family was Thai, but he never learned to read or write. And so they asked me if I could help to teach them. And so that was actually my very, very first experience teaching. Is I had a small group in Seattle, but my job was to teach Thai language, not English. And I wrote a book like how to read Thai, or I had to write a book, and I would check with my Thai friends there, like is my spelling correct? Spelling in Thai is very difficult. But that also made it when I came here, I got to swap positions and teach English, which is much, much easier than teaching a language that's not your native language. And I also have a huge sympathy for Thai teachers that teach English here. And those are all the teachers that I work with. So, like, I think that's what made a huge difference in my working experience here, because the Thai teachers could tell, like, my perspective is very different. My perspective is from someone studying Thai language, from a Thai learner, and not just like a foreigner coming here and working a job. So like I'm much, much more sympathetic to their job, because I tried to do the same thing, and it's very difficult. It's not easy at all.
From being immersed in all languages, this is a question for both of you. What have you observed to be there's no one size fits all or like one method to rule them all, but like which way do you think people are more responsive to learning any language?
Well, I mean, I've studied language learning a lot now for many years, and there are many different methods. So it's not possible to say there's a best method. Many years ago, there was a belief that there was 12 different main ways of learning languages, but that's been proven wrong. Now it's been proven there's more than 150 in the brain. So some people learn best through books. Some people learn best through interaction. I believe like interaction is definitely the more fun way to learn.
I think it has to be meaningful for people. Like whatever medium
I think that
they choose,
is true.
You know,
it does need to be meaningful, but they have to. If it's through a book or a video, they have to bring that meaning somehow themselves.
I mean, it's like what they say: read what you love until you love reading. So something like that.
Yeah. And I also think there's definitely more than one way to learn too. And I think no one should just take one approach to learning. I do want to point out now, with the nature of the language exchange group, I personally recommend like people come here and you'll meet lots and lots of people when you come. And it's not really the best environment to study here, but it is the best environment to meet someone to study. So that's what I recommend. Like, come here, meet someone, and then you could do a separate time for your own language exchange. For me, I'm working on studying Chinese, and so my past 5 Chinese teachers were people that I met here at the group, and then we find a separate time and place that we meet, and then we just for an hour, and over coffee or something, but that we help each other.
Nice. Yeah, I think having partners, like accountability partners, study buddies, is extremely important as well.
Yeah. It makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah. Because I think with anything, really, like working out, exercising, learning language, anything in life, I think people find it hard to stay consistent because there's, a lot of things happen in life. But having some support group, which I want to hear more about, like this language exchange is kind of a support group.
Yeah.
Not just for language, but for a life, it sounds to me like.
Yeah, it's true. And that's also where, I mean, when you, at some point, I think it's natural you'll jump from language exchange partner to friends. And then, especially with Asian cultures, you almost never become friends with one Chinese person. It's that one Chinese and their group of Chinese friends, right? But this is a good thing, not a bad thing.
Of course.
And so then it makes, when you go out with that group, it makes practicing the language even more fun because it's not just the one-on-one lesson. I think that's very important to have the one-on-one lesson. But then if you're just going out to have dinner or something like that, it allows more of a free opportunity to practice or not, but it's up to you.
Yeah. And would you say Chinese people here often are more or less shy than Thai people?
What do you think?
It depends on person. I think Chinese people, some they are shy, but mostly they if they come and they try to practice. Now I have met many friends that start from zero and their English is better and good and have confidence to speak with foreigners a lot.
Also, we're talking about the population that they've already decided to leave their home country, right? So I think by nature, most of these people are not so shy. And they're also more open-minded than most people in China. The number of Americans that travel outside of America is a very, very, very small percentage. I think it's the same for foreigners as well. So the foreigners that you meet here are not your normal, typical foreigners in their home country. These are people who've already taken the jump to leave their home country and travel, and they already began with more of an open mind.
Yeah, and I think that's what I mean by the last 30 years in Chiang Mai. I think there's a lot more people who, like, even if they're from Thailand, they're from the south or they're from Bangkok, like they come here. So everyone has that similar mindset that you're just talking about, you know, which is an amazing place. It just adds to the, you know, like the arts and the culture. And I don't know, I think this year, you know, there's a lot of changes happening in the world. There's elections happening like all over the world. But in Chiang Mai, I think it's going to be a really good year.
Yeah, it's normally very peaceful here. Sometimes not so quiet. Asia is not a quiet place, just to warn you. But peaceful. It's very peaceful.
Very peaceful.
Yeah, safe.
It's safe and peaceful.
Other countries, like I have met some foreigners. She's from the place that can speak Spanish. She said she cannot even talk the phone and walk to the street. People will drive and take your phone. Or when you go to some countries, your luggage will get stolen, something.
South America is kind of popular with
yes,
that.
And your helmet also. I have seen people that go with the helmet every time. So I asked him like, why you didn't leave your helmet at your motorcycle? And he said it's not normal in his country. It will gone soon. So he take his helmet with him.
Tell me more
time.
about the safety here in Chiang Mai.
Safe law. I think it's pretty safe, but please don't think it is safe city. So like today I have been my friend's house and we just go out nearby to eat food, and she said, do I need to lock my door? And she lazy, she don't want to lock her door, but I said, please lock your door.
Yeah. But what is the percentage? Have you ever heard about someone sleeping in their house and some burglar comes when they're sleeping in the house?
No. Is yeah.
Actually, that's still something as an American. Like, I'm used to always locking the door, and Thai people never lock their front door here. Not in Chiang Mai. But I can say, I mean, hopefully I can safely say, I think the biggest problems of theft here in Chiang Mai is with bicycles and motorbikes. But the problem is not from Thai people, it's from Burmese. The Burmese, they come and they steal motorbikes and bring them to Burma. They can't get caught there. Actually, my first motorbike was stolen here.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
Interesting.
In fact, there's at my apartment where I lived, and I watched them steal it on CCTV. It was very frustrating.
When was it, in the early 2000s?
This is 2012, 2013, maybe 2013. I had it, I think, for 2 years.
It's hard for me because I ride around a bicycle everywhere in town, and I like Loy Krathong and stuff. Like I would leave it because, you know, I was not in the shape to drive back home. So I would leave my bicycle, not locking it, just random places. And every morning I went back there. Sometimes like later that evening I'd go back there and it's right there.
It's always there. I'm not saying like it's impossible, but these are the only problems that I've found living here a long time. The problems of theft is with bicycles and motorbikes. More with motorbikes than bicycles. So because they're worth more.
This is also, I mean, you were like, oh, do we have enough material to talk about? We're at the hour 10-minute mark right now. So we do have actually more to talk about, but
Sure.
I'm curious about what would be something that would, let me phrase it perfectly, for anyone who's visiting or staying here for the long term in Chiang Mai, what would something they would want to do to make their stay worthwhile?
Well, I found that community helps a lot. And for us, we found community through language exchange. Because community helps you gain friends with community. And you have more fun living, abroad. It's really one of the biggest differences in my life here. I also have my work, and that helps too, because I really love my job. In America, I had jobs I hated, so I really appreciate this job that I actually really truly love, even though, the pay doesn't compare to pay in America, but I don't care because I actually love my job here.
Less is more, for sure. Yeah, I think community is essential to survival, in any circumstance, but especially if you are not in your hometown, if you don't speak the language, if you're trying to find out about, although I feel like there's a lot of different communities in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
We have kayaking group, we have kayaking ใช่ไหม kayaking every Thursdays, and
Yeah.
we have
We actually have a subgroup of language exchange karaoke we do every other week.
Latin dance,
Salsa dance. There's swing dance. Yeah, actually, that's where before COVID, Chiang Mai was almost like a haven of different activities and different groups.
I think it still is,
And it's starting to come. It's getting back there now.
Oh, okay.
It's getting back there now.
Nice.
I don't know which time, but yoga also have many groups that we have in Chiang Mai and still running before COVID till now. So you can meet people that are do the same, do what you like to do. So here is not just language, but you can know the culture of people, and you can know the technology and everything because of people from around the world. Some they retired so early, 30 years ago, get retirement life or something, so you can experience this type of people also.
I'll give a big piece of advice though. If you move here, Facebook is still the number one way. If you have any interest while living here, badminton, tennis, all the sports, just type in badminton Chiang Mai on Facebook. You'll find 10 groups.
Nice.
And what time, what place they meet, and just go and join.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Speaking of
hiking, there's several hiking groups.
Yeah, I'm very lazy. I was invited to a few times, but I'm very lazy. But speaking about advice, let's close off with some advice that you would give to maybe your younger selves. That's a good one to start with. Then we can expand maybe.
Advice to my younger self. Oh, that's a thought-provoking question. Oh, wow. My advice would move here sooner.
Move here sooner. Wow.
Yeah, but my plan got delayed because there's a recession in America in 2010, and that delayed my plans by 2 years actually. I know I could have had more success had I moved here sooner.
Wow. So could we extrapolate this to say young people should embody the spirit of travel sooner than later in life?
Okay. Actually, I think I did some things right. I think when you're young, you should just travel, trying to experience different cultures, different places. But I think your hometown, home country should be your base. And this is for reasons of building up social security, and it depends on your own countries if they have social security or not. As an American, Americans do. So I worked in America until I was 40, and my purpose was to build up that social security, so when I retire, I will get money. but not every country has that option. So yeah, I mean, you have to bear the future in mind. But when you're young, you have the energy and you have the open mind to travel. So do it if you can. And I was lucky because when I was in my 20s, I was very smart and I read through my company's rule book and I found a loophole that I can travel for 1 month per year and not lose my job. And I did it, but I was the only person.
Well, that's what you get for reading the manual.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I was just one of those kind of nerdy kind of people and like, what can I do? And I found this. And I always did want to travel. And in America at the time, I was working like 3 jobs in my 20s. So I was making good money. And that was a way of rewarding myself. Okay, I'll take a month off every year and use part of that money I'd saved to travel. And I loved it. I did that through my 20s. That's how I first came to Chiang Mai.
Yeah, and I kind of feel that energy on Tuesdays here as well, you know, like in the language exchange. I definitely feel your personality sort of, you know, wafting through the corners.
Thank you.
And how about you? What's your advice to your younger Thai self?
Because of I love my life now, so I'm lucky that I'm join language exchange group in the first beginning, because of, if you know, my Chinese at the first beginning is so poor, English also. So when I come here, I meet people, I know the culture and I know everything around the world. Like I like to travel, so I no need to go to that country. I just explore first. Like I like to drink the coffee. So when I meet here and people from this country, so I will ask them like, where is the best coffee shop in your country? So I will point on my Google map, and then when I go there, I travel there.
Oh,
like
then
Taiwan.
Since you speak to a lot of people from everywhere around the world, can you give me a list, maybe 3, maybe 5 places that you absolutely want to visit?
My places, I like to go to hike Zug Spritzer in the south part of German, and then Japan, like watch the Fuji mountain, and then maybe Great Wall of China, and then maybe New York or something, I don't know.
Okay.
So I just random
pretty
decided.
diverse. That's pretty
yeah, but
diverse.
because of my friends that I meet from language exchange now, they move to other places. So my goal to travel, because of I go to meet my friends. I have friends that move to German, to Ireland, and many places. Holland also. So my goal is just only visit friends.
My answer would be similar too. Like I just know so many people that they came here and they studied and then they immigrated outside their home country. So I would love to visit all of them actually. And also some people, they came here and then they moved back to their home country, like Australia. I would like to visit some people that we became great friends here. So
many places that we need to visit.
Before we close, I would like to just tell viewers, if you're here in Chiang Mai, then please, every Tuesday, Language Exchange Group meets here at the Moat House near Taipei Gate. It's like 1 block away from Taipei Gate. Every Tuesday night starting at 7 p.m. It's a wonderful group. That's why he's interviewing us. If you're not in Chiang Mai and you plan to come to Chiang Mai, then check it out.
Yeah, go onto the Facebook group. Don't miss it.
Yeah, we have the Facebook
group.
Chiang Mai. You can check in,
and it's completely free.
Yeah, it's completely free, and the group is free. Yeah.
Amazing. Any other parting thoughts or ideas from each of you?
No, we've talked about a lot.
Okay, and I'll have this one last question because I like this question Tim Ferriss keeps asking on his podcast. If you had a big, huge, life-size billboard that you could stick up in Chiang Mai where everyone can see when they come here.
But those are typically ugly, so I'd never do that.
Never do it here. But let's say in the world, then not specifically in Chiang Mai. If you had a big billboard.
New York, okay, there's lots there.
Yeah. What would be your message on that billboard?
Do you have a thought? Open your mind. learn another language. Learning another language will open your mind. I mean, that's the first thing. The learning another language will open your mind, especially if it's a language not related to your own first language.
Further from your culture, the better.
When I first started studying Thai, I had to learn words that were new concepts because in English we don't have words for these things. So it was really the beginning of opening your mind. I think that's my main message. Like, learn a language to open your mind. From there, everything else will begin to open.
That's splendid. Fantastic.
For me, I don't. Maybe in German, I can do what I want. So if like ich kann machen, was ich will, is me like the first time I been to language exchange, I been a Thai people, so I don't join the events, right? So if I say to myself I can do what I want, so I start to learn and I explore the language and culture and everything. So it's good to your life to know, and is the things that you learn is in your mind, so people cannot take it out. If you have this one, the benefit.
Well, awesome.
And the tip is also be patient. Learning a language takes time, especially if it's a non-related language. So just understand you need to be patient, keep working on it. It could take 5-10 years. Actually, if you really start to learn a language, it never stops.
Yes.
There's never an end point.
Yes.
There's always more to learn.
Yes.
Yeah, it does. It opens doors.
It does. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for participating.
Oh, thank you for asking to interview us.
Yeah, no, of course.
It's an honor.
Thank you so much, and keep doing. In Chinese we call 坚持. 坚持 is mean keep doing, so we'll success or we'll happy one day.
That's a marvelous way to end it. 坚持. Thanks, everybody. This is another episode of Heads and Tails, and we'll see you on the next one.